everybody, it's Ian the Off-Kilter Crafter. I hope you're having a great day today. Today we're going to be taking a look at ATC or Artist Trading Cards. These are little creations that you can make to send to other people. Sometimes they can act like business cards. Other times they're just decorative fun items that you can trade with other artists. Now, I'm a member of a group called G's ATC Inspirations, and this group does a lot of ATCs and a lot of ATC swapping and stuff like that. For the latest group swap that we're working on right now, we're doing History ATCs, and this is what I came up with for one of them. It is a 20s themed flapper girl speakeasy type of history era thing. I'm horrible at describing this, but basically the time period that I chose to focus in on is the 1920s, when we had flapper girls, speakeasies, and prohibition. Now on each of these there's a little keyhole, and in each of the keyholes you can actually see a flapper girl just behind it, kind of like the doors that open, had the little slot that opened up for the speakeasies, and you would speak the password and they would let you in, or if you didn't know the password, you weren't getting in. This is another one that I did. Esther Carver actually sent me some of these old antique photos, and I thought it would fit in perfectly, like somebody dropped it on the floor of their mistress or the lady that they were choosing to dance with that night. And then lastly, I have this one, again, another keyhole down here at the bottom, and a bottle of cologne up at the top. I think all of these ATCs are really fun, and I know my recipients are really going to enjoy them. So let's go ahead and take a look how I put the last one together. I've already started off and put a cover on my cardboard. I used that cardstock and just glued it down with some multi-medium matte. I have a whole jar of this stuff, and so I stuck it down and glued it down and then cut it out with an X-Acto knife to match the edges exactly. So the first step I need to do to get this kind of vintage look, I've used two different types of distress ink, or two different colors of distress ink. I used, let's see, on this one I used Antique Photo, or excuse me, Vintage Photo, because it gives it a really nice sepia tone. On this one I used the new Hickory Smoke color, and it came out okay, but I prefer this Vintage Photo color a little bit better. It makes it look a little more vintage, I guess. I don't know. I guess that's why it's called Vintage Photo. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and sponge this on. I have a mini ink blender tool, and I'm just gonna go ahead and grab some of this ink and go ahead and start pouncing it onto my ATC. Now it's a little bit difficult to do this because the card is up, I don't even know what that is, 1/4 of an inch. It's up a little bit off of the surface, so I'm kind of having to take my tool and hold it up a little bit as I'm going over the edge. Alright, so there's my base color. I think it looks great. It gives it that great sepia tone to the board. So let's go ahead and start adding our elements onto it. I have a picture that I've printed out very, very tiny, and then I have taken, this is from the Tim Holtz collection. It's a keyhole collection. It looks really, really great, and it looked really cool to have her just kind of hiding behind the keyhole, kind of like the speakeasies. So what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to take a little bit of my multimedia matte. I'm just going to spray it onto the edges, not spray it, but add it to the edges of the paper, and then I'll take the keyhole and just put it on top. So now she's nice and hidden inside the little keyhole, so I'll set that aside for a moment and let that dry. Next thing that I'm going to do is, I got this is from Paper House. I got this at Joann's. It has a whole bunch of beers and ales and all sorts of related items. I want this bottle of beer right here, so I'm going to go ahead and try to figure out how I can trim it out without cutting everything else. I may just leave that in. Alright, I think this is kind of how I want to lay everything out. So the next step that I need to do is I need to add the brads for this keyhole, and it's kind of a silvery one, so I'm going to use some silver brads for this. So the way I'm going to do this, this is where I want it to be. So I have this really cool tool from We Are Memory Keepers, And what happens is you use this end to obviously poke through where you want your brad at. And this end you use to separate it out. It basically pushes the brad arms. I don't know what you call the side of a brad. What are these little things? Are they legs? Are they arms? I don't know. Anyways, basically you put this right here and it'll help split them open. So I think I want my keyhole here. So I'm going to go ahead and make some holes. I'm going to put it on a piece of foam so that way I don't go and damage my tabletop. Alright, so now that I have poked the holes through, we're going to take our brads and I'm just going to place them through the holes. Before I put my keyhole down, I'm going to go ahead and spray the backside with just a little bit of multi-matte medium, so that way I ensure that this is going to be locked down in place and is not going to be wiggling around. I'm going to take the tool and poke it just like that, so that it opens up the little army leggy feety thingies. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other one. There we go. So the keyhole is in and ready to go. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put down my bottle of beer. Sounds like something we say here in Texas. Hold my beer and watch this. So I'm going to put the beer bottle right about there. And last but not least, I'm going to take my pearl necklace. Again, I'm going to take some of the multi-medium matte and squirt it right about here. Woo, that was a lot. Want a little bit more. There we go. Something like that. And I'm going to stick my pearls right in it. Okay, apparently I need some more than that. So let's add a little bit more. Let's add a good amount. There we go. That should work. We'll stick it back in again. When that dries, that will be a very permanent adhesive that should keep those pearls on without them moving around. I'm going to set that off to the side and I'm going to work on another element. Next thing I'm going to do is, it may be hard to see, but I have a 20s, a 2, 0, and then the S, and I'm going to take my Copic marker. This is Y15, and I'm going to go ahead and just fill in the glitter paper that I have with some of this Copic so that it turns it this wonderful yellow color, very Art Deco yellow. Yep. Okay. So that's ready to go on the card. I'm going to grab some more multimedia matte and add a little behind each of these pieces. And to finish this off, I'm going to use some glossy accents on the beer bottle to really bring it to life. There we go, this ATC is done. I'm just going to label the back and it will be ready to send in the mail. All in all, I think these ATCs are really super cool and I'm really going to enjoy sending them off to their recipients. If you'd like to join G's ATC Inspiration Group on Facebook, feel free to check out the link down in the description below. Click that link and then you can request to join. I think that's going to do it for today's video. If you liked today's video, give me a thumbs up, let YouTube know that you liked my video, and then YouTube will share it with other people. You can also, if you're not already, subscribe to my channel. Hit that button down below. It says subscribe. It's big and red, unless YouTube changed again, which wouldn't surprise me at this point. Make sure to hit that button if you haven't already. That'll subscribe you to my YouTube channel and you'll get great updates every time I post a new video on YouTube. You can also find me over on Facebook. Just search for the Off Kilter Crafter, and on Twitter, my handle is @OffKilterIan. Alright guys, until next week, keep it off kilter. Bye! Down in the description below, I'll put it's blah, blah, blah. Right side up, upside down. Behind the keyhole. This is not focusing. Star Trek Swap ATC. God, I gotta get it right.